Hey guys, APG40 here. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review on the G-Wolves Hati S from G-Wolves. Now, I know in my last video, I did say that my next video would be an XM1 review, but my G-Wolves Hati S did arrive in the mail, and a huge shout out to G-Wolves, by the way, to sending this out to me for review. But my G-Wolves Hati S did arrive in the mail, and I knew I had to do a review on it because I just opened up the box, and I just love the mouse. Before we talk about the mouse, I want to announce that I am offering aim coaching. I offer 5+ routines for Fortnite. They are Kovacs routines for beginner, intermediate, and advanced players, and there's also 2 specialized routines for shotgun, SMG, and AR. So I highly recommend you go check this out, buy these routines. You will improve if you do that. And if you're interested, follow my Twitter on twitter.com/apg40_ and DM me through there, and from there I will tell you my rates and prices. Okay, so I am going to start off by talking about the packaging. I know you guys are probably like, the packaging, what do you mean by the packaging? But for this mouse, the packaging was absolutely, like, they just blew it out of the park. Inside the actual box itself, there was a tin can with a G-Wolves design on it, which was really cool. And when you opened up the tin can, you had the cable, as you can see on the screen. You had an extra pair of 20M Omron switches. You had the G-Wolves mouse grips. You have the mouse itself, obviously, which is a very good looking mouse. And there was actually an envelope with the instruction manual inside of it, which was pretty cool. I know you guys are probably like, an envelope, it's just an envelope, but like, the way this packaging is done makes it feel like kind of hype beast, I guess you can say. Like, it just, everything is like put in there, like, and it just feels like special. I don't know how to explain it. You have to unbox it yourself and have that feeling. As for the manual, it's just a normal manual. It tells you where to download the software. It tells you basic things about the mouse that I will go over in this review. And the mouse is technically called the Hati S Ace Edition, so that's the one you want to get on the website when you're downloading the software. Now, funny thing that happened to me while I was actually unboxing the package, under the plastic shroud that's wrapped around the mouse, like the mold that the mouse fits inside of, like if anyone's ever unboxed a mouse in their life, you'll know what I'm talking about. Underneath it, I was taking the thing out and I was going to put it on my shelf with all my boxes, and I found a bag underneath it with an extra cable in it, and it had a brush. I'll show some b-roll of it right now. So you can see the extra cable comes in blue, and that's the good thing about being able to have it plug in with micro USB. You could just include 2 cables in the packaging, which is really cool. And then there's a brush, which I don't really know like what the point of the brush is, other than you can clean the mouse with it. But the thing that like stands out to me with this brush is that, like, again, it kind of feels hype beast, I guess you can say. Like, it makes you feel special, like this thing is a premium product. And from my testing, it is a pretty good product, and I really like the mouse. Aesthetic wise, this mouse has extremely good aesthetics. It just looks terrific. It looks like an ultralight Phantom from Finalmouse. If you've ever seen it, it has the same colorways on it. G-Wolves calls it the Hati, and in my opinion, I don't really care that they copied it. It's just a really good design to put on a mouse, and it just looks great. In between the 2 mouse clicks, there's a G-Wolves logo. The side buttons are blue and everything like that, and it just has a really good aesthetic to it, and even the shape adds on to the aesthetic. Like, it just looks like such a great mouse, and something that I would just want to like put on display if I wasn't using it. Like, if I wasn't using this mouse as my main, which I probably will not because I have really big hands and this mouse is not huge, so I need like a pretty big mouse. But like, if I'm not using this mouse, basically I would put this on display over all the other mice that I had, which is a lot of mice, by the way. I do have a collection. It's not a huge collection like people like Rocket Jump Ninja have, but it's a pretty decently sized collection, probably around 15. And later on in the video, I will do a comparison of this mouse, the way its size and shape looks against all the other mice. So just stay tuned for that. I also forgot to mention the front of the mouse, like under the mouse clicks, there's a hole on it to shave weight, and it actually like doesn't ruin the build quality or anything. That's like kind of a really innovative thing from G-Wolves, which is, I just thought it was pretty cool. So alright, so now I'm going to go over the basics of the mouse. This mouse is 48 grams, which is extremely light, by the way. That's 14 less than the Air 58, which weighs in at 62, not actually 58, which is kind of funny. It's 20 less than the Model O. I believe 22 less than the XM1, the Viper. Everything around the 70 gram range, it's like a lot less in the hand. Like it feels a lot less in the hand. Sensor wise, it has a 3389 sensor, so you're not going to spin out at all on any surface. It's a perfect sensor. I think it's the best on the market right now. I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't matter. Anything above a 3360 is probably good enough to last you for a long time and not have any problems. The switches are Omron 20M switches, and they feel really nice. I wouldn't say they're the nicest switches I felt. The nicest ones are probably on the Ultralight 2, and for me, the G403 have really nice clicks. Also, the G Pro Wireless has really nice clicks, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad clicks. Like the clicks still feel very nice and perform very well in game. The side buttons, from what I can tell, have no pre or post travel. The DPI button is a little bit shaky on my copy, but you're not going to be hitting that in game or feeling it, so I don't think that's a big deal at all. The scroll wheel, I would say it's a little bit on the higher side or harder side to the scroll. It's pretty responsive from what I can tell using it in game, but it's also not like the Model O scroll wheel, which for me like was really hard to press down. So I'd say it's a good scroll wheel. It's responsive, but it's not too hard to scroll, and it feels really nice. In my testings, the mouse has had no side flex or bottom flex, and there is a small rattle, and I can't tell if it's a DPI button or the scroll wheel, but there is a small rattle in there. But in game, I haven't felt it at all, so I don't think it's a huge deal. And I will also do a sound test of all of that in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so now you've heard the sound test, and the Hati S does come with TTFE mouse feet, and basically they're like hyper glides. They glide buttery smooth, as Brandon Taylor would say. And I will do a glide test of it gliding on my GSRC, as well as how loud it sounds on it while gliding in 3, 2, 1, go. As you can see on the GSRC, it glides perfectly fine, and they're just perfectly good mouse feet. There's nothing wrong with them. It just glides perfectly fine, and the GSRC is not even the fastest mouse pad. Like, it's pretty controlled glide, so you won't have any problems with the mouse feet. This mouse, shape-wise and size-wise, is a small mouse. Its grip is 55 millimeters at the top, which is not 4 less than the Model O, because I know a lot of people use that mouse. And it also is 113 millimeters long, which is really short for a mouse, really short. So you're probably going to be fingertip gripping it, and if your hands are really small, then you might be able to claw grip it, because it does have a really high hump. Like, the hump is the same height as a G Pro Wireless, but it's like extremely shorter than a G Pro Wireless. On the screen, I am going to put up some pictures of it compared to all my other mice, so you can see how short it is and the size it is compared to other mice. It'll be in the center of both pictures, so you can tell which one it is. Also, I would like to include, I forgot earlier in the video to talk about the cable. The cable is really flexible, like nothing really wrong with it. It's extremely flexible cable. It basically feels like wireless. Even on when it's not on a bungee for me, I don't really feel it that much. Like maybe not even at all. And when it is on the bungee, like you'll never feel it at all. So it's a very good cable, very flexible and everything. Now the price of this mouse is $85, but if you really think about it, a used Ultralight 2 is like $120 on eBay, I believe. And so if you want like a lightweight small mouse that you could fingertip grip or even claw if you have really small hands, this is the way to go. I feel like if you really want to spend more money on Ultralight 2, you can, but if you just want a small lightweight mouse for the cheapest that you can get it, that's actually good and that won't break on you and that won't just completely suck, then this G-Wolves Hati S is your mouse. And if you're interested in this mouse and you think that it's a little too small for you, because I'm saying it's small from the pictures, G-Wolves has another mouse called the G-Wolves Hati M, or just the Hati, which is the normal one, and that one is a bigger size of this mouse. I've heard build quality issues for the Hati, but I believe with the most recent variants of the Hati, the build quality issues have been fixed, and they are a recommendation if that is true, which I believe to be true. Okay, so that's basically it for the actual mouse itself. I am going to go over the software if you want to stick around. I'm just going to go over how to download it and what it includes and everything like that. And that'll be the last part of the video. So if you want to stick around for that. Alright, to download the software, you need to go to gm-gwolves.com. And once you do that, you need to go to the click software and look for the Hati S Ace if you're going for this mouse. And if you have another G-Wolves mouse, and they have all the softwares for each mouse there, but this review's on the Hati S Ace, so that's the one you want to go to. Alright, so the software is a pretty basic software. It shows you what each button is. There's lighting effects, you can change DPI, you can change what the color of the DPI is on your mouse, I believe, that it shows up. And then there's also a part for the polling rate, the lift-off distance, everything that's basic, and then there's a debounce time. So for me, the debounce time was automatically set to 16 milliseconds, which I highly do not recommend going that high of a delay on your mouse. Make sure your debounce time is on 4 milliseconds, which is the lowest that it can go. Now that's to avoid double clicking issues. Glorious does it with their mice, and a lot of other mice do that. I think Logitech doesn't do it, but they're like a really big company. So most mice, they have it set to 4 milliseconds as the lowest you can go, and that's what I recommend. 4 milliseconds is not a big deal. It doesn't really feel that big of a difference, but like 10 to 16 milliseconds, definitely you do feel the difference. So make sure to keep it at 4 milliseconds. Alright, so that's going to be it for this review. So overall, the mouse is a very good mouse. It's pretty short and not that wide either, but it does have a high hump. It's a very good for fingertip grip, and this looks insane. The boxing was very good, and I know that doesn't matter that much, but it's still like just a cool thing about it. It looks insane. You can even switch the colors of the cables out because it comes with 2 cables. And it's a very lightweight mouse with a honeycomb design that doesn't have bad build quality so far, but I do have every right to believe that it will keep having good build quality, and I haven't heard anything bad about the most recent batch of this mouse, so I haven't heard anything bad about the build quality for that, so it should do just fine. And yeah, it's a very good mouse. So make sure, if you enjoyed this video, to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/apg40_. Make sure to follow my Instagram, and that's gonna be it for this video, so I hope you enjoyed.